Today I'm going to show you how to clean that wonderful machine of yours, otherwise known as your PC. Now, a couple of reasons why you would want to clean your PC. First of all, if it's getting extremely loud, because that could be a sign that there's something blocking your fans and they're trying to work harder to cool your PC. So that could be dust or any pieces of paper or anything like that, which would be really weird if they got stuck in your PC. I don't know how that would happen. But, things like that. Also, if you don't remember the last time you cleaned it, or if you've never cleaned it at all, that's a pretty good reason. And also, another reason would be if you're exchanging components, just while you're in there, you want to make sure that you're getting a good clean, and that all your slots are cleaned out before, let's say you're installing a new graphics card, so there's not any dust blocking the pins or anything like that. And especially if you're like replacing a CPU or something, because dust is probably the last thing you want under there besides water or any other kind of conductive liquid. Alright, so anyways, without any further ado, let's get to it. A couple of things that you're going to probably want to use or need. First of all is a screwdriver to get into your case. Just like a standard Phillips head screwdriver, like you can see here. Some form of blowing air into your case, like this. This is just a little blower. Unfortunately, I don't have any canned air, but if you do have canned air, that would probably work a little bit better. This comes with some cameras and stuff like that. It's very handy to have for DSLRs. And the last thing are just some electronic wipes. Now, these are going to be used to clean the outside of your PC, as well as certain parts of the inside, like on top of optical drives and stuff like that. And maybe hard drives and SSDs. And also, if worse comes to worse, you're going to want to get some cable ties, which I can grab for you right now. And you can use these to tie down cables, that if you haven't already done that, but of course I've already done that, and this is not a cable management solution thing. And of course, if you're going to use cable ties, you're also going to need a pair of snips, if I can grab those real quick. And here are some snips for you guys. And these will pretty much cut through anything plasticky like cable ties and even some really thin sheet metal. Alright, so anyways, without any further ado, let's get to it. Now, of course, first things first, before you're going to be able to clean your PC, you're going to need to open it up. And on most ATX cases, the case door is on the left side of the case if you're looking at it from the front, or on the right side of the case if you're looking at it from the back. And that's most typical ATX cases. And pretty much all you need to do is just remove any plugs from the fans while you're doing this. I've already done so. I've also removed my cold cathode on the top, and just pull the case door off like that after you unscrew the screws on the side. Most of them are thumb screws. Mine happen to be thumb screws with little screw holes in them, so it's like double trouble here. You can unscrew them either way. But anyways, as you can see, it's a royal mess in there. And it's really good to have a vacuum or something like that handy if you haven't cleaned your computer ever before and it's been a while. But let's get right to it, and I'll zoom in on the camera. Alright, so let's start over here. Up the top, you can see that you've got your CPU fan or heatsink or whatever you have there, or fan and heatsink. You obviously can't have a fan on there without a heatsink, but for this we're just going to be using our little blower tool here, and just blow some air in there and get that dust out. Sometimes it's a two-handed deal here. And just kind of blow the dust off of the CPU cooler. In my case, I'm probably going to need to go at it with a vacuum. But obviously not going to do that on camera because it's going to be pretty loud. And one of those nice little attachments really helps when you're doing this. Like one of those tube attachments. Next, we're just going to dust off our RAM, and you might be saying, oh yeah, why would you dust off your RAM? That stuff doesn't get all that hot. Well, really what happens is, guys, especially if you have a lot of fans in your case like I do, I actually have 3, excluding the CPU fan. 3 really isn't a lot, but you know what I mean. If you have a good bit of fans in your computer case, these pretty much act like fins, and all the dust that runs by them, which is pretty much sucked in by your fans and blown out by some, it just catches onto there, and it gets really dusty, guys, and it doesn't look good. And it also, of course, when air is flowing over, it transfers that through CPU heatsink, and that's probably the worst place to have that stuff. So I'm just going to pull this wire out of the way real quick, kind of tuck that on top of my optical drive. This is actually a 3-pin to Molex adapter because I ran out of fan headers on the motherboard. Don't worry, I'll upgrade soon. And just kind of blow off all your components here. Also, around the CPU heatsink, there tends to be a lot of crevices and, you know, capacitors and stuff like that. Just blow those off pretty good. And, get underneath the RAM, get, like, where the, locking pins are and stuff like that. And, yep. As you can see, lots of dust is coming off. Next thing is, down here, you're just going to want to blow off your graphics card a bit. You know, you spent a lot of money on this thing, I hope, at least. And, you just don't want it very much dust in there. I didn't spend much on mine, but still, you don't want this thing getting dusty and overheating on you. Because overheating for any component is bad. Actually, mine gets up to about 70 degrees Celsius, which is really crazy and preposterous. I don't know how it survives. But it's pretty much been through worse, and it's doing well. And also, as you can see here, I'll point out, there's on the PCI slot, you can see some dust. If you can just kind of get that with a rag, I don't have one handy, that would be good. And let's move on here. Now, I don't know if you can see this, guys, but I have a USB 2.0 5-port card with 1 internal and 4 external ports. Now, of course, this is also a PCI card, and you don't want this getting dirty either. But, aside from that, just kind of blow it off, just like you did with your graphics card. Just make sure that you're dusting off that internal port if you've got one of those. And, also, I don't know if you can see this on camera, but above, see if I can pan this a bit without the tripod creaking. Above here, you can see another PCI slot, and that just needs to be dusted out as well. So if you can get in there with canned air, now of course my little blower isn't going to suffice for that, but if you can get in there with canned air, then that's just great. Sorry, just dusting off a fan here. Shouldn't be doing that prematurely though. Now the next thing is your hard drives and optical drives and stuff like that. 3 1/4 drives, and basically all you need to do is just grab one of those handy electronics wipes and go over the top of them. Just make sure that you wring it out a little before you do so. I'm actually just wiping off my Vantech Nexstar SE, which houses my 120 gigabyte ADATA S510 series SSD. So that's really speedy storage there. Actually, I was planning on moving it up to this bay up here, but I decided against it because anybody can just go out and grab it out of the Nexstar SE while the computer is booted, and that would be a very bad thing. Also, just a little note, not to rant about the product right now, because my review is coming up pretty soon, but these little quickie, kind of quick release things that are on the case itself, on the Cooler Master Elite 334 Advanced NVIDIA Edition, they tend to be a bit big for these holes, and I think it's just these holes because I've had many hard drives in here, and they've never stuck like that. Next, what you want to do is, if your case has this feature, I'm just going to push mine back a little bit so I can do this. Take off the front cover and just kind of dust off the inside of the front cover, and as you can see, when I took mine off, a ton of dust just kind of spewed out there, and dust off pretty much all the header cables and stuff like that in there. Make sure that there's not very much dust left over, because you don't want that. You don't want that stuff getting into your components, right, guys? Okay, so just gonna dust that off. And then if you can, get in there with the canned air and just kind of get that out there. Of course, I'm just going to use my little blower for today. But I'll be sure to update this video one day when I do get some more canned air. And also another thing that I need to note on this case, sorry I didn't do this in the original video, but as you can see, there is, I'd never noticed this before, there's very faint gray lettering that says power and reset, well P and R actually, but it's supposed to represent power and reset, and I like that a lot. Looks very nice. So anyways guys, thank you very much for watching this video. Well actually no, not thank you very much. Yet. I'm just going to show you guys how to clean off your case window, if your case has that, like mine does. But yeah, just make sure that your switches are working when you realign that case thing. But anyways, let's get on to the door. So next, on the inside of the door, you're just going to want to dust off this part with the little rag. And also see if you can get the inside of your CPU fan shroud that attaches to the side of your case, and get that really well with the little electronic wipes there, and then keep getting the inside of your case. And then I'm just going to flip this over real quick and get the outside, although this is something that's preferably done when it's actually mounted. And there we go guys.